we could do a sanity check on it for sure though, because we do know that if we have a $10 million market cap, then well,
10 cents.
yeah, 10 cents would be the total, and yeah, if it's $10 million, that circulating supply.
Because that makes me think that we might not have enough allocated to the RepDAO Association.
Yeah, let's see.
Unless I guess some will be unlocked initially, right? Will be immediately unlocked.
Yeah, whatever percent we decide to go with will be immediately
right.
Unlocked. There it is.
We're live streaming, just so you know.
Cool. Am I sharing the
cool.
right one? Yeah. So yeah, so this is RepDAO salaries 25.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a really good check. So this is maybe we need to up the amount that the RepDAO is doing, because the RepDAO will be getting, this is like just the initial unlocked.
Right.
And maybe the RepDAO will be paying out more than that.
We also will have this 400,000 give immediately unlocked for future contributors. That would also go to this. Could be a budget for this line item.
Yeah.
For the salaries.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you got.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I assume that the future contributors is like, this is something that we give people after we put zeros for the first few weeks, because it was like, oh yeah, we'll use this to hire people, and pay them or give them like these token allocations effectively, like kind of like stock, but without the vesting, just token.
Oh, cool. I like that too. That makes sense. Okay, that makes more sense.
But we could definitely.
Well,
we should probably. Yeah. You're probably right that we should probably up the RepDAO amount.
We may need to. I did just do some math, and it looks like we'll be getting another 180,500 tokens unlocked each month. So in addition to this initial unlock amount, we'll get another 180K give per month.
So
you could do that by week.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do like, we'll say that we use this for the 180K per month. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 180K. Yeah, and I can give it to you per week. It's 41,666 per week.
Okay. So maybe what if we just do 30,000? So 30,000 a week. That's basically like double.
Yeah, 41,000 per week in extra unlock amount.
Well, maybe I'll just divide by 26 instead. Oh, that did not work. I hope the give token goes up in price.
Me too. I love it when numbers go up.
Yeah.
I love it when numbers go up.
CVDAO looks a little small. We only really have that many.
It's the initial unlock too, as well, I think.
That can't.
Yeah.
It's weird that the CBDAO does look like something funky is going on in the Giveth token sheet because we have the same amount of initial tokens for RepDAO and CBDAO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh, it's just...
Yeah, it's for sure the wrong amount.
What's his initial weight exactly? Like, do we get to just choose how much, or okay, this is okay. So the initial tokens will be based on the vesting tier, right? This part. So this should be this percentage of each of these. Of column H should be G1 times the G column, right? Like this should be 2 million if we have 20%.
Yeah. This should really just be this times, right?
Right. And then the initial weight should just be, is the initial weight basically this divided by this 100 million times 20 to get the initial weight? Is that what that should be?
Yeah, it should be whatever that 20% is.
Okay, so
yeah, thanks for catching this. I did not really play with this sheet.
Divided by this times this. Okay. And then lock it to H4.
We're going to ruin all your APRs.
It's okay. Good thing I didn't do all of them.
Okay, I'm going to pull this formula down to the rest.
Yes.
Not like that.
How did the APR tables look?
They looked...
I mean, it's still like relevant to check out. Oh, I guess I have them over here.
Yeah.
Sharing screen.
I mean...
That's It's amazing how little impact the initial claimable has.
Okay. See. Okay. So now this initial tokens is updated.
Nice.
But something's still off. Okay, so shouldn't these initial tokens, shouldn't this be the tokens multiplied by the vesting tier 1? Right now, like this is, it's multiplied by the weight, but it should be multiplied, I think, by G1. We should be multiplying tokens by...
Which tab are you in?
He's saying...
I'm in the Giveth token distribution graph.
And which this like
initial tokens.
Initial tokens, I don't think it's right yet. I think we need to multiply tokens by the vesting tier 1, right?
Isn't that what in column H?
Yeah, in column H. Right now it's multiplied by this weight.
Is it?
Oh.
I see E4 times G4.
It should be G1.
Oh, Oh, yeah, it should be G1. Okay. Yeah, it's just that first set.
Oh yeah, it's just the first set. Okay, cool.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That changes.
Oh, it should be G4 times G1.
Oops. G4 times G1.
Cool. That makes the math easy too, because then RepDAO will be getting another 2 million tokens each year. Starts with 2 million, we get another 2 million each year. In fact, this is pretty nice. Yeah, all of the initial tokens, if we do the 20%, we'll get the same amount each year for the following 4 years.
Yeah, and we were just playing with it. The reason 20% is there is just for funsies.
Oh, yeah.
We were just tweaking it, and seeing what happens.
Mm-hmm. So none of this stuff's set in stone yet.
It's interesting, actually. Like, well, I don't know. Okay, so let's say that this circulating supply estimate, it's pretty rough. It's like how much. Oh, what happened?
Oh, I just changed to 13.33%. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool.
That's what happened.
So, okay, so then we're back to where it was. Oh, but that's more. Yeah, because we'll probably want this to be like 50, right? So let's just crank that up.
What are we currently spending on salaries each month?
Somewhere around 20K.
Okay. So 50,000 per week. Hopefully gets us there.
Yeah.
We may need some buffer.
Yeah, and this would be assuming a circulating supply market cap of $1 million. And when we look at our liquidity mining, I think it will go up.
Cool. Also, this is all, we're just looking at the RepDAO, but at some point, maybe even pretty soon, the CV DAO could take over funding salaries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the CV DAO is spending 84,000, like twice as much as the RepDAO, it looks like.
Okay, cool.
And then we also have source cred.
Right, that goes to contributors too.
And then we have the actual projects like donations to causes and project curation.
Cool. Source cred seems a little low to me. Oh, I guess I was thinking about it per month. This would be like 4,800, 5K or so per month. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and we can always bump these up. I think these are like relatively this is also the estimate for liquidity mining more than anything else, Like it's the estimate for like how much circulating supply will be entered. So we might be with like the RepDAO and some of these other things. We might be playing games with the token distribution. Like we could, like, what if source cred was only? What if we also gave like the vesting part to source cred. It'd be hard to do, but we could do it with RepDAO. Give people the gift that keeps on giving. Giveth UBI.
You're saying giving users source cred that vests, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I mean, this is we're only playing with liquid tokens. So, like the RepDAO paying salaries, that's with the liquid tokens. We might use, this is all.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. I totally see what you're saying. These are all unlocked amounts that we can pay out, but I see.
So we might
start allocating some of those.
I mean, it's because the purpose here is not to figure out how much the RepDAO will spend, as much as it is to say like how much circulating supply will actually enter the market so that and be available for liquidity mining.
Right. Cool.
Hey, user, welcome to the party. Who's
user, what's up?
What's up?
Not much. We're having on some liquidity mining. You're welcome to join or participate or just spectate.
Just listening, just watching. New to this, so seeing what you guys are talking about.
Cool. Man. Well, this will be a pretty financial focused one compared to most Giveth meetings, but but cool. Okay, so yeah, these are like estimates. Honestly, who knows? They're really rough estimates. But
it seems like a pretty good estimate to me. Passes the sanity checks, and I think this is a good estimate of new circulating supply entering the country.
Yeah, it's not bad. Oops. It's not amazing, but it's like there's no way we're gonna get a good one. Like there's no good estimate here.
So they say the only thing you know about forecasts is that they're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So I am gonna multiply the RepDAOs by 2 though, instead of making it constant, and just assume that the RepDAO is spending money a little harder than it should, or than we expect the other ones to.
At least in that first year.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So how do the APYs look with this?
I had to go in and do them all manually, so now I have to do them all again.
Well, I think we can just kind of look. We can look. So there's the APR tables tab, and it kind of shows a little something. I actually thought there'd be way more impact of this initial claimable, but you can see like with 100% circulating supply at launch, we minimum have a 900% APR.
What is the 100% circulating supply? Is that just based on the multiplier of our assumption?
Yeah, it's like, well, at launch, we only have the initial supply. So if all of the initial supply goes into the liquidity mining program, and we're giving out, the same amount every week for a year.
Okay, so this is what's the lowest APY we'll have at launch?
Yeah.
Is circulating supply. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, 75% of the circulating supply, 50% of the circulating supply.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And that APR, that's based on, that's the full APR, but, X% swap, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's assuming that the 13%, only 13% was claimable initially.
Cool.
It's also assuming a 4-year release period.
I am surprised at how little impact the initial claimable amount has.
Yeah.
I think it's going to bump it up to like 20. I like 20. I think 20 is a good number for it.
Yeah. And then after a year, we can see what the claimable situation is, which is interesting. It's still pretty high.
Seriously, we may need to decrease the amount that we're doing for liquidity mining because these APRs seem generous, but it is important to keep in mind that only X% will be immediately unlocked.
Yeah, these are. I mean, after a year, if it's 20%, then it'll probably be like 40%. APR will be like 50% or less. But in some ways, it might be also to it's nice to have the charts and the results, but we can also just go to the actual simulation and start playing with it. So here's where just maybe some updates. Here's where the estimated circulating supply is. This give pooled, you can make an assumption of like what you want the APR to be. Let's say we want it to be 500. This tells you how many tokens would be pooled for that. I think the other thing that we should consider tweaking is like the percent per week. Maybe it doesn't have to be the same every week. We could have it gradually we could have it start lower and gradually increase to like balance out the APRs. Because like if you look so like in the second part where you say, oh yeah, let's just assume that 50% of the circulating supply is always farming, then you can really see how over time how quickly the APR decreases.
Mm-hmm.
And if we instead tweak this, so that it starts out at 1% for the first month or something, and then goes to 1.2 for a month, we can kind of even it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of projects have their block reward, their mining rewards decrease. It's definitely like the trend I've seen rather than increasing, but yeah, I see what you mean. Like, it makes sense to increase it too.
I would assume that they decrease a lot just by effect, like they're printing their money, so now there's more what's happening, the percent of the circulating supply is increasing, and they're just keeping a constant rate. They're just doing that. What we have here is
well, I know the APRs tend to decrease, but even specifically, they're just in a constant rate.
Yeah, that is true though. Like they're like, I think they're probably relying on this idea.
Decrease.
Oh, sorry.
Like with Pickle, it started as 10 per block, and then they cut it in half to 5 per block, then 2.5 per block.
They're probably counting on lazy liquidity providers. Like if I were, because it happens to me too. Sometimes the liquidity mining just stops, and I leave my money there, right? Do we lose you, Willie?
Yeah, that could very well be it. My computer's freezing a little bit.
Oh, we hear you. Okay. Let's see you.
A little bit. I'm coming in and out. But I got the point there, yeah.
But it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this liquid percent. There's a liquid APR and total APR. But you'll notice, like at 500%, it's over 170% of the circulating supply is pooled. So it's like not possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossibly low in this case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that seems a little too rich to me, right? Like if 500% is impossibly low, I feel like we don't need to. I feel like, you know, anything over 500% is going to be a very attractive APR for a reputable project like ours. Is kind of how I feel.
Definitely.
It's great to have it, get up to quadruple digits if there's not a lot of liquidity there, right? Because then there's a really strong incentive to pull that liquidity in. But yeah, we don't want it to be too rich. We want it to have the optimal APR so that we're not just printing as much, or money printer's not going completely burr. We don't have too much inflation. So that makes me think, that we might want to.
Honestly, it just looks like a scam if it's too high, right?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
It's like, what is this? 2,000%? Looks like a scam. I don't know.
Totally. The only time I ever got rugged, it was like 1,000,000% when I got in. It was like never under quadruple digit percent.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they're just playing with these spreadsheets, being like, well, yeah, who's not going to put money in this?
Exactly. Until you learn your lesson.
Yeah. So, and I think that's why we should probably start out with less, but but then there's a lot of other choices we can make too. I see the main variables being like years of vesting, initial unlock, which apparently doesn't have that much impact, surprisingly. At least when it's all in the same round. I'm sure if it was 100%. I mean, what it has a big impact on is liquid APR.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't look at that, honestly.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but it also should increase the circulating supply to start. So, it would affect. I would think it would affect the. It seems like it should affect the APR more.
Do we assume that how much? I guess we don't assume.
Oh yeah. When Lauren was doing the numbers, we were not assuming the circulating supply wasn't increasing before with that percent increase. I don't think. So I think that we just have bad numbers. Because we can try changing it now and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that just changed the APR like 100%.
Yeah.
This was so now at 20%, it's the APR with 100% circulating supply. Oh, actually, I'll change this back though. So now it's 568%.
Yeah, before it was 900.
If we go back and change it, it's 900. Yeah, 852. So now we have.
Okay, well, I can go and do them again. So we have a better idea.
Cool. Yeah, so we have 4 years of vesting. That's a number to tweak. Initial unlock. And then there's also how much tokens do we want to, even add to liquidity mining.
Right. So say those variables again, the key ones, the vesting percentage.
Yeah, it's these two, like 4 years and 13.33%. Those are the two big ones that we should play with. There's also these allocations. This 2% across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think we want to bump those down. It's 1.5 or 1% per.
Yeah, and yeah.
Is that initial, or is that those tokens? Is that for the first year, or
yeah, just for the first year? And actually, you know what? This is not true, because these will. Oh yeah, no, they will be unlocked. Okay, yeah, no, that's all true. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess
it does seem like a lot, right? Give 10% of our token supply for liquidity mining the first year. I know that's definitely a lot more than what other projects allocate to the liquidity mining program. So yeah, I think 5% for the first year would be, which will so 1% each would be a little more standard. And
well, that'll cut that will cool. Cut everything in half basically.
And that sounds it passes the smell test a little bit more, right? Like allocating 10% of our total token supply just for incentivizing liquidity in the first year seems like a little bit too much. 5% more reasonable to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the argument would be like for the first year, it might be a little much, but the argument would be that it might take a year to build the economic value that we're creating and get people to believe that this token has value that they will provide liquidity for, like with the give backs, the airdrop, and just like giving a lot of people tokens.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we would need that artificial liquidity push until all of a sudden it's like people are actually using give tokens or to vote on things and to build things, and they understand the value of the economy, because it's pretty abstract, we're creating value because look what we're doing. We're paying for people's donation, we're paying for people's gas on Giveth Trace, we're like building these cool tools people want to use, we're donating to causes, we have project curation.
Yeah, that's a good point. Historically, people there's social good stuff, public good stuff hasn't been the best investment historically. So we got to kind of get people to rethink that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're looking at the total APR, and this is assuming that 100% of the circulating supply is doing liquidity mining. So this is kind of the minimum APR we have.
Yep.
Each week.
And then,
so we're probably not going to have 100%. Can we just put in like 75%?
Yeah.
See
yeah.
What's that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have to run in 15 minutes. So the main goal here is like maybe we should like fork this spreadsheet even, and I think it might be easier just to make 3 copies of the entire spreadsheet and just go wild, start playing with it and seeing what we come out with, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of variables to change: the vesting, the unlock, the percent that goes to liquidity mining in the first place.
Yeah, maybe we should like.
Cool, I'm getting to that.
Yeah, maybe we should like also like organize kind of like which things we'll each explore.
Okay.
I like that. I'm planning to basically play around with those
Just
main
play.
variables that we got to figure out, just like you ones you just listed, and yeah, basically try and just like play around with the variables and target a healthy APR, both short term and towards the end of the year too. Make sure it's good in the beginning, good towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we could all do that, and then come back and then see kind of which variables we landed on, and what the APRs are for each, and then hopefully have like a quick session, 30 minutes to go through each R's and align on variables, final variables.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and looking at some scenarios. I'm really curious about changing the percent per week. And
I'm curious about it too. I'm reluctant. I'm kind of leaning towards keeping it constant for the first 6 months or whatever we decide to do, and then learning from that, and then figuring out should we, what should the rate be going forward? Because I just don't know enough. Like I'm right now I'm torn between making it increase or decrease.
And
I don't feel like I have enough knowledge to make any changes to.
I mean, should we just change the number of weeks to 6 months instead anyway?
Yeah, I do like that.
I mean, it definitely makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to do it for less time. I mean, and just have some experience and then make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So much changes in 6 months too. I mean, we've already got Uniswap V3, and it could be a new version of Balancer, a new version of HoneySwap, and all this stuff by then, anyways. That we want to upgrade to.
Yeah, definitely.
The Uniswap V3 liquidity mining contracts are going through audit right now, but they're coming soon. So, and then it's pretty cool the way that you will be able to do liquidity mining on V3 with these contracts that they built. You can basically incentivize liquidity at like any point in the range, and it doesn't really matter if people are providing on the full curve or just like a segment of the curve.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, we might have enough time to actually consider doing V3 liquidity mining because Uniswap's publishing these contracts in the next couple weeks that anyone can use.
That's really interesting.
They published them, but they're still going through audit. We could actually take a look at one. But yeah, we don't have to figure that out right now. But we might have enough time to actually switch to V3 before launch. If that's interesting.
I hope not. I hope we don't have time. But cool. Okay, so let's see what we got to do to make this. What do you think about the 6 months versus a year, like liquidity mining?
I don't know.
We can still do more liquidity mining. It's just like how long are we committing to a rate for each of these pools, basically.
Exactly. Give token distribution back. Oh yeah, there it is. So 26. Okay, so if that goes to 26, it still has 52 columns and is assuming that we're distributing the tokens over the full year, right? But now so we would need to fix a few other things. Like, That should fix it.
So the like claimable, or the that are released weekly, circulating supply. We also did that for 52 weeks.
The circulating supply will still be, we're still using, I think that's all okay.
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay.
It's just the rewards.
Right.
Well, this is cool. Did you see Uma's announcement today of the range token? You heard of that?
No.
No.
I'll send it over to you. It's pretty cool. It's a new treasury primitive that enables DAOs to access funds and diversify their treasury without directly selling their native tokens. DAOs can use their native tokens as collateral to borrow funds with no risk of liquidation.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Nice. Danny was just saying, like, I want to sell. I don't want to sell my Gitcoin, but I need the liquidity.
Exactly. This is pretty cool. I'll post it in the comments.
Okay, cool. I think the sheet should be working now. With a 6 month. Yeah, with a 6 month. Everything's right. Let's see. Yeah, that looks right. So, yeah, so maybe I'll just highlight in like hot pink the stuff that we should consider changing. This one, these two. I'll highlight the 26 week distro pink, but we probably don't need to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when we make these changes, then we can like also reweight some of this other stuff given the information that we have. And there's one thing. There was something that. Well, do you remember what we were talking about with the Give token? Like the staking rewards for people who are voting, like on conviction voting, and how that would cause issues.
Because people would either want to vote, would either stake their tokens there or be staking them in liquidity.
I can't remember what the solution was.
They could earn rewards for voting.
Oh yeah, that's right. So, because we want one of the issues that came up when we were just thinking about it is like we don't necessarily want the staking program to be like just the voting, because we don't want people to go there to conviction voting just to vote on without actually having any intentions of voting. Like we don't want just people to be earning, but also we don't want to have them like lose out on the opportunity of making profits. So I think the idea is that we can create like a reward for people who vote and make sure it's the exact same as the liquidity mining for people who just stake 100% Give tokens. So that like you get rewarded whether you vote or not, and if you don't want the stress, you just it's like a little bit easier to go to the staking contract. But if you are voting, you get the same reward as if you were in the staking contract.
Cool. I like that. So that it doesn't either incentivize or disincentivize voting, because otherwise there might be an opportunity cost, right? Because people are like, oh, well, why do I want to hold these tokens for voting? Because I could be getting this sweet APR for just staking them.
Yeah.
Love it.
If you don't want to vote, just stake it and you get the same APR. So
Cool.
we might need to like hijack the Giveth program to pull that off, but it'll work.
Cool. So yeah, if we can just get the list of everyone who voted, we can just give them givebacks.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be easy. It's like all the tokens that are in the effective supply. Like you can just see who's voting and who's not. Yeah, okay. Well, I have to run to this interview, but I would say like make a copy of the spreadsheet, and if you run into questions or something, like Lauren is pretty good at the spreadsheet, and obviously so am I. So like feel free to just ask.
Cool. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Looking forward to diving in. Good luck with the interview, dude.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lauren. Have a good night, y'all. Talk to you soon.
Good night, Willie. Bye.
Bye.